One of my favorite interviews every SEC Media Week is Marty Smith, and he's joining us here. And I got to thank our friends at Academy for setting this up. They're so good to us at TexAgs. I know they're good to you.
They're great to me. I love my relationship with Academy Sports and Outdoors. We were discussing off air before we came on. One thing I love the most about it is you can get everything in the world there.
Yeah.
And I'm an avid outdoorsman. I grew up playing every sport. I still like to fancy that I'm an athlete. I'm infatuated with pickleball. They have everything you could ever want from the pickleball world. So you play pickleball yet?
No, not yet.
Got to get you on it, man.
All right.
I'm about 6 years in. I was actually a little ahead of the curve. I was ahead of the curve a little bit. But it's what I love about pickleball is the community that it creates, because your athleticism matters a little bit, but your precision matters more. So, for example, the last time I played before I came to media days, my teammate was an 81-year-old lady named Betty with a bedazzled poker visor, and she smoked everybody. So, like, it's just fun, man. It creates a beautiful community that way. But anyway, you can get your brand new pickleball paddle at Academy.
Well, I feel like I'm at Academy every month. I have 4 kids that play sports, and it's like they run it, they get out, they grow out of their shoes so quickly. We're there all the time. You can get your hunting stuff. You can get food there.
Everything. Back
to school, all the back to school items.
Another thing that I love too is I'm an avid runner, and they have this hydration. Like, I love all of the different hydration powders and whatnot, and I didn't know Academy had it. And I was back in the workout area where the weights are, like the free weights and whatnot, the dumbbells. And I looked at this counter and I'm like, oh my gosh. I mean, they had Noon. They had, like, do you know what Noon tablets are?
Yeah.
They had every single flavor of Noon tablets, and I bought like 10 different sleeves.
Yeah.
So it's just, I love what they stand for. I love what they're about, and I love the outdoors again. So they have everything I need.
Marty Smith with us here on TexAgs Radio. Marty, we're going to talk to you in September about it, but can you give us a little preview about the book, Sideline CEO?
Thank you for asking. It comes out September 26th. I am going to come on again when it comes out, but I interviewed Jimbo Fisher for the book. What it is I interviewed 20 championship coaches about leadership pillars. I broke the book into 8 different kind of silos. And some of those silos are, what is leadership in your mind? Delegation, communication and listening, trust, culture, all of these different, crisis management. The storytelling in the crisis management section is unbelievable. Mac Brown and Dabo Sweeney, Coach Saban and Jimbo, and all these amazing, Kim Mulkey, Patty Gasso, who just won her 7th national championship with Oklahoma softball, them really sharing their paths. Kirby Smart, they're all in the book. So I hope it does well. I think it will. I know that you will get a lot of insight out of it, no matter what your walk of life is, no matter what your professional or personal path is, because so much of what they say is so relatable to our daily walk. And I've really enveloped a lot of that tutelage into my daily walk. Self-discipline, self-evaluation. One of the hardest things for us to do as people is look at our body of work and be honest and open in analyzing it, because a lot of times you don't like what you see. If you like what you see, do better. If you don't like what you see, you damn sure need to do better. And so I think it will sing. I hope so. If you guys, it's available for pre-order right now on Amazon. It's called Sideline CEO, Leadership Principles from Championship Coaches. And you'll find this interesting. I interviewed Greg Sankey for this book. Okay. Did you know that Greg Sankey was the 1991 co-region 6 something coach of the year in golf at Northwestern State?
At Northwestern State?
Yep.
I did not know that.
Funny, the way I introduce him, in the book is 1991 co-coach of the year, region 6, whatever it was. And then I'm like, see also Southeastern Conference Commissioner. But, Greg's honesty in sharing his insecurities and vulnerability during the COVID time was so insightful to me, because imagine being the person that was charged with overseeing, okay, can we play football or not?
Right.
Because our fans, SEC fans, desperately needed that.
They did.
We needed to have that to grab onto during that time of uncertainty. So it's pretty, I mean, I did it, so I'm biased, but it's pretty fascinating stuff.
Well, I want to ask you some football questions, but first, you were mentioning you were with Buzz recently.
Buzz and I went down to Tampa, Florida, and saw Luke Combs. I will tell you, man, you and I have the blessing of interacting and engaging with a lot of different leaders and a lot of different people who stand in front of people and share and grow. And Buzz is one of the most impressive people that I've been around. I appreciate the vulnerability with which he lives his life. And he's one of the greatest assets that we can have as interviewers is a closed mouth and open ears. And the great leaders listen. And he's one of the best listeners I've ever met. He really tunes into what you're saying. He digests it, and he's very inquisitive in response. And I also think he's a damn great basketball coach. I mean, what he's done down there is great. I know he wants more. I know Texas A&M fans want more, but I think he's doing a phenomenal job, and I think he's really optimistic about what he has coming back.
I like to hear that. So are you optimistic when on the football field for Texas A&M?
I am.
Yeah.
I think Jimbo's genuinely got to take his hands off the offensive wheel. I think that's and it's hard for him because Jimbo is one of these guys like Ryan Day. They've had success in both roles. And when you've had success in both roles, you tend to have this mindset of, I can fix it. I can outwork what's not working.
Right.
Does that make sense?
You've done it.
Because you've done it and you have a body of work that proves you've done it. However, in today's college football, for not everybody, some people can do both. I think for Jimbo right now, he's hired Bobby Petrino for a reason. That is because Bobby Petrino is he's brilliant in offensive concepts and schemes and creating space and taking advantage of mismatches. He has to let him do it. It's going to be hard.
Yeah.
If he's willing to do that, I think the Texas A&M's wide receiving core is one of the best in America. I love Wegman. I do. I think there's so much talent down there. He's recruited at such a high level. So it's there. It's all there in the pot. Just got to be mixed up right. And with all the responsibilities that come with being the CEO, with being the figurehead, look, every single recruit, tennis, volleyball, track, they want to come see the football facility. They want to meet Jimbo Fisher. He has to do those things. So the nuance and the intricacy that comes with play calling and game planning, you just can't do everything. You can't.
Yeah.
I have this analogy. Back to the book. I wrote this analogy in the book. When I was a kid, my mama would drop us off, me and my buddies off at the town pool, and she'd give us $1. All right. And with that $1, you could get a Chico stick, you could play 2 rounds of Dig Dug, and you could get one of those big old chunky pieces of Laffy Taffy. All right. You take the wrapper off that big old Laffy Taffy, and you take a bite out of it. It's meaty, it's flavorful. It's got like it's like nice, man. You remember it, and it's great. But if you grab both ends of that Laffy Taffy and you pull it, and you spread it real thin, and it gets real thin in the middle, and you take a bite out of that middle, it ain't nearly as good.
Right.
So you can't get spread thin.
I love that.
How about that redneck analogy?
I love it. I'm going to play that again on the show. That's great. Hey, I want to ask you about your show with Ryan because I think it's so genuine, unique. How do you guys prep? Because if I feel like, and when I say prep, I don't need inside baseball, but like you have a rundown or you just go.
We don't. Now, there's a caveat. During the football season, when we're on campuses, there is a rundown,
right?
But it's a very loose one. Randy Heritage, our producer, leaves a lot of oxygen for us. Like there's a lot of air for us to work through and just display our friendship. Now, the radio side, like when we're in studio and the radio, that kind of simulcast, there is absolutely no plan. Now, we'll know the big moments in sports. Sure. We'll know the big stories that ESPN wants us to make sure we touch on. We'll study that individually, but we don't talk about it. We sit down and do it. And it's interesting what the word brand is overused these days, but kind of the brand that we have is this loosey-goosey, funny, fun, and that is true. But I also believe that if there's a big story in sports, one of the two of us is either covering it for other platforms,
right,
or know the individuals involved and can get insight on it. So if there's an important story, we can also report on it with credibility.
Right.
I'll say. I was going to use the word authority. That's the wrong word. I think credibility is the right word. And we're grateful for that. Like when you look at the platform that they've given us, it's a dream. It is a dream to be who you are with a buddy of yours, and them believe in it.
How long you guys been doing the show together?
I know we started our podcast in 2000. We started our podcast like 10 years ago.
Okay.
But the TV side, this is the 4th year we've done Talking Season with all the coaches. I think 4 or 5 years.
Okay.
Something like that.
Because I was going to say, there was a time in television that you probably couldn't get away with that kind of show, right? And like, you guys are kind of pioneers when it comes to bringing a podcast vision to a network.
Probably. I think that the real pioneer is PTI.
There you go.
I mean, what Tony and Michael, they changed TV. And again, it goes back to it's built on their friendship. It's built on their relationship. It was landmark and revolutionary in the TV sphere, but they're both reporters. And so they have this ability to speak with credibility because they're reporters. And we've done some idiotic stuff. We've done some zany stuff. But I do feel like we also have enough credibility to be able to speak on stuff. So yeah, thank you though. I appreciate the kind words.
Well, and I'm going to say one other thing about it too. I feel, and I mentioned this to some of the other SEC network guys, that there's a different kind of family vibe on the SEC. I'm not saying that the other networks, but
it's true.
You guys are all buds, like all of them.
We are, and there's a lot of reasons for that. Like I'll just take, like, I love PB, I love Doring, I love Alyssa Lang, but I'm just gonna kind of center on our little SEC Nation group.
Right.
Laura Rutledge, Roman Harper, Jordan Rogers, Ryan McGee, Paul Feinbaum, Tim Tebow, myself, and our management and production group. We go on the road every weekend together in the fall. We eat together. We fellowship together. We care so deeply for one another on a personal level that you're not wrong. It's created an energy that infuses all of us with this self-confidence to be exactly who we are. And in our world, that is currency that is it's so valuable, and the worth of it is so deep that it's indescribable. And I'm so grateful for each one of those people, because they've allowed me to find places within myself that have eliminated insecurities that I had. Mm-hmm. And man, is that valuable to me on a human level.
Well, Marty, you're the best, man. I always love talking to you. It's I think it's going to go one direction and it goes another one, and that's the best kind of interview.
I mean, that's me. I appreciate you having me. I love what you guys do. I can't wait to get back down to College Station. Love it there.
Hey, we'll take you to the Republic. All right.
Let's go, man.
Let's do it, man.
Let's go.
Thank you, Marty. Appreciate you.